We are down to just 2 weekends remaining in the IndyCar and Indy NXT season, and it's the only trip of the year to the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to Portland International Raceway and the INDY NXT by Firestone Grand Prix of Portland. Cars are gridded up, drivers are strapped in and just about ready to go. Kevin Lee, Charlie Kimball, Georgia Henneberry set for 35 laps of INDY NXT action. And after we saw temperatures above 90 degrees yesterday, it is, relatively speaking, brisk. Very comfortable though, mid-60s, some cloud cover, sunshine will peek through, and it is going to be a perfect day for racing leading up to IndyCar, 3 o'clock Eastern time on NBC and Peacock. So Charlie, we're down to 3 races left. Remember, there is a doubleheader next weekend at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. 4 are mathematically alive in the championship. Christian Rasmussen is in control, up by 50. So what's his approach going to this very treacherous Turn 1 chicane?
Well, Christian Rasmussen definitely has one hand on that championship trophy heading down into Turn 1. But let me tell you, anything can happen in that first chicane. For Christian, it's about being clean, surviving, taking as many points from today as possible. He just has to be consistent in these last 3 events to come out with the championship and that all-important scholarship to the NTT IndyCar Series.
So we can give you a sense of what we think, but better to find out what the driver thinks. Let's go downstairs with Georgia Henneberry.
Christian Rasmussen is your championship points leader, and he's also going to roll off 3rd today at Portland International Raceway. And Christian, with your sizable points lead, do you drive this race as aggressively as if you were in a chasing position?
I don't know if I was in a chasing position. It's definitely a little bit of a different situation that I'm in, but there's still plenty of points up for grabs, so we're not letting up.
INDY NXT is a developmental program as well. What do you think some of your biggest strengths this year have been?
I think we've learned a lot from last year, you know, just being consistent and taking the result that you can on the day and not like pushing for something more that might not gonna happen. So I think that's really been our strength this year, consistency. That's how you win championship, and it's kind of what has put us in this situation.
We're winding down the 2023 season. Have there been any positive talks geared towards 2024?
Yeah, there's been some talks. You know, we're in the process of like figuring out where to go and where we can go. So I've had some good interest from a few different teams, which is positive, but that's really all it is right now. It's just interest, it's just talk, so we're looking to convert that into a seat in IndyCar next year.
Well, that's Christian Rasmussen. Good luck today. He's going to roll off 3rd here at Portland International Raceway.
Thank you, Georgia. Just a few moments ago, and now we look at what Christian and the 16 other drivers are facing today, Charlie.
It is the shortest road course we go to all year. That all-important Turn 1-2 complex, heavy braking, a lot of speed through that right-hander. Really funnels down, gets tight in Turn 2. Turn 9 and 10 at the end of the back straight. It is fast. It is high commitment for these drivers. That long right-hander onto the front straight. By the end of this race, these INDY NXT drivers' necks will be screaming at them. You can see it's a lot of rhythm, a lot of flow, a lot of interconnected corners here in the Pacific Northwest.
Back to the championship scenario. While Rasmussen is in control, he can't clinch today because it's a doubleheader next weekend. But he could go a long way. It's going to depend on what McElrea and Abel and Siegel and others do. But if they all finish up near the front, the championship will still be somewhat in play heading to next weekend.
It is very much so for the 3 sort of chasing cars. They've got to be thinking attack, attack, attack. They've got to finish up front with as many bonus points as possible, hang as many points as they can on, eat into that lead of Christian Rasmussen to have a shot when we get to the doubleheader at Laguna.
And Rasmussen is on a roll. He's won 3 of the last 4 and is in charge, but McElrea and Abel have been very consistent all season as well, and Siegel certainly had a great first half of the season, so we shall see. All right, we're about ready to go. Let's head to pit lane.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
A field of 17 ready to go today from Portland. Scholarship, money at stake. everyone trying to position themselves for next season. Some have already said, you know, I've done all I can do at this level. It's IndyCar or bust. Others looking to find their best opportunities for Indy NXT in 2024. Silly season also very much in play at this level, just like it is IndyCar in IndyCar, and they are all intertwined as they roll off for the pace laps here from Portland International, and this is how they're going to start. Front row, Louis Foster won his 4th pole of the season, and Hunter McElroy still in the championship fight on the front row for the 5th time.
Christian Rasmussen, our championship leader, inside of row 2, doing exactly what he needs to do. Kiffin Simpson really learning and growing. I think he might be back for another year next year.
Reese Gold celebrated his 19th birthday yesterday. He's on row 3 along with Victor Franzoni, who is getting another opportunity today with Juncos Hollinger Racing.
Inside of row 4, Nolan Siegel, who had great results to start the season, still looking for some end-of-season consistency, solidifying where he is in the championship. He's got a long shot to try and steal that crown. Daniel Frost, a race winner already this year, outside of row 4.
Jacob Abel is one of those still in the championship fight. He is knocking on the door for a win. He's been a runner-up twice this year. And Juven Sunderworthy, in his 2nd event, finished 11th on debut at Nashville. He's been impressive so far.
Christian Bogle with a really strong qualifying for HMD Motorsports inside of row 6. Talking to James Rowe, he's looking at trying to put a program together for next year to come back. He's had some strong results in the 2nd half.
Good to have Kate Motorsports and Jagger Jones back after they sat out the Oval Worldwide Technology Raceway. And Ernie Francis Jr. had a solid weekend in St. Louis, finishing 8th.
Inside of row 8, Josh Pearson, another rookie from right here in Portland. Jamie Chadwick outside of row 8. And then inside of row 9, Matthew Brabham, a problem in qualifying, losing his best lap, but finishing out these last 3 races for Juncos Hollinger.
Yeah, he's been in 3 different card numbers now so far this season. All right, let's find out what it's going to take. Kimball's keys for today's race.
Well, it's really about surviving that lap 1, turn 1, especially on the start when they're side by side right into this area. They miss that chicane. They have to hit that orange cone right at the bottom of your screen. They have to go drivers left of that. So even if they are way out by the racetrack, they've got to come around. Portland International Raceway, it's a bull ring. It is short, it is fast, it is tight, it is all interconnected. If you find your rhythm, you will be very strong. But if you get knocked out of that rhythm, you can go backwards in a hurry.
Christian Rasmussen leads the championship by 50. That's good. It's comfortable. You're good. If I'm Christian Rasmussen, I am scared to death, and I will not exhale, certainly until the race is over, but I just want to get through that chicane to start the race because it is treacherous.
If I'm him, my nerves are jangling and I am on high alert heading into turn 1. If I see any movement in my mirror, I'm bailing out and trying to get through there cleanly. The worst thing that could happen if I'm Christian Rasmussen is contact. Coming into turn 10 now, they will accelerate out of turn 12. We'll see what turn 1 brings. And
his closest championship contender is on the front row, starting on the outside. That's Hunter McElroy in one of those white cars, the number 27. Louis Foster, his Andretti teammate, is on the inside. That black car, the number 6, the championship leader in row number 2. And here we go from Portland. Foster gets the jump. That's Kiffin Simpson in the American Legion car, making it 3 wide, heading down to the chicane. Can they all get through? The championship leader's on the inside, and he gets turned. Rasmussen turned around.
And McElroy involved as well. Jacob Abel.
Reese Gold is in that. That's the onboard with McElroy. Simpson. Rasmussen follows the path.
Rejoins right at the back. There's damage. The right front of Kiffin Simpson looks like it's folded up. His day is likely done.
Oh, and Jacob Abel is also involved.
In it. Full course caution. We've got a yellow. Safety car will pick people up. We talked about it. We knew it was coming.
Well, it's been perilous again this weekend in some of the junior categories. The USF 2000 race saw cars get airborne in the first of their triplet over the weekend. The incident is under review. Did Franzoni get in the back of Reese Gold? Is one thing I saw.
That's the first thing, and because Reese Gold then was trying to gather the car up, and they're also 5 wide. 5 into 2 doesn't go. Reese Gold gets in there, gets into Simpson, gets into McElroy. Abel's got nowhere to go.
your right, Christian on your right, Christian on your right, inside on your right with Christian, inside on your right. Go. Stop it, stop it. Can you back up?
You can see that lock up from Victor Franzoni. And also further back, James Rowe going around Josh Pearson's right front, all folded up after contact. Talked about lap 1, turn 1 chaos in that chicane.
Yeah, we weren't just building up drama. This is a legitimate concern. And if you have any interest in any car in a race here, you are terrified of that chicane because it is a lottery if you're going to make it through.
That is Colin Kaminsky with damage on the right front. Oh, excuse me, Yvonne Sunderworthy with damage on the right front for Abel Motorsports. Jacob Abel trying to get it into neutral, get it refired. These cars are all a lap down now.
Let's listen to some radio communication now.
It's destroyed.
Do you have suspension damage there? Suspension damage?
Yes, suspension damage. I don't know if I can try and get back. I've got a flat left front.
Oh boy. So every championship contender was impacted except Nolan Siegel, who came out of there third. Daniel Frost scooted up from 8th to 2nd. Louis Foster got the jump. He's the one that got through there with no issues.
And I'm sure he's breathing a sigh of relief because we have seen contact this year when Louis Foster's been on pole. So the fact that he got a clean start, Jacob Abel climbing out of the car.
You come all the way out here and you race about 200 yards. Georgia.
Christian Rasmussen involved in that incident. There was communication back and forth with the team to see if there was any damage to the HMD Motorsports number 6, but Christian on these caution laps feels good enough to stay out, so he's not going to come to pit lane.
Christian's got the speed, he's got the ability. There are still over 30 laps. We get going green, there'll probably be 29 or 30 laps for him to move his way forward. He has to know that Hunter McElroy is a couple laps down now, 1 lap down now. Once that 27 car gets rolling, we'll see where he is. He's got to know he's going to extend his championship lead.
And look at who got through and moved up significantly. There's Christian Bogle in the Pelican Energy car, who's 5th. Right in front of him is Jagger Jones. You talked about the challenges they've had. Engine change before the weekend. Still had mechanical issues in the first practice this weekend. He's up to 4th. Jamie Chadwick in the DHL car is running in 6th. Ernie Francis Jr. in 7th. Matthew Brabham got by in 8th. And then there's the championship leader right behind him in 9th. That black car back there, you see the number 6. There's Brabham with Juncos Hollander. He spent some time with Cape. He's been in the other Juncos car this year. And there's Hunter McElroy, who does drive away.
He will have to get back on that flat left front. It'll do a little more damage to the bodywork of that 27 car. They'll have to put a front wing on it, a nose cone with front wing, change that left front. You see the damaged part that the AMR safety team damage to the right front of Josh Pearson.
And unfortunately, this is his final event of the season because he is committed to his European sports car program for next week. Josh will be back next season, though. He's already said, yep, that's the plan to come back next season. Kiffin Simpson, by the way, had a podium in ELMS. That's why he wasn't with us at Worldwide Technology Raceway last week, and we'll see Kiffin again next weekend at Laguna Seca. There's Reese Gold coming in. So not many got through unscathed, including 2nd in the championship coming in, Hunter McElroy. And at this point, he's just trying to stay alive to get to Laguna Seca in the championship, and maybe also thinking, I want to finish 2nd in the championship. It's going to be tough to come back on Rasmussen multiple laps down, and here it is again.
It's a big contact. Yeah, Franzoni just gets it in the back of Reese Gold, and then it compounds from there. Oh, it just makes me cringe hearing that contact. And Hunter obviously sees Reese Gold there, doesn't know it happened long behind him. And it looked like Pearson got into the back of James Rowe further back.
I know as a competitor, you can't do it this way, but there's no way to avoid that in some circumstances. I often wonder if you're better off just rolling through that chicane and come out. So a penalty on Reese Gold is being served with an avoidable contact penalty, and the penalty to TBD later because he is 3 laps down.
I don't get it. I mean, how do you get hit from behind and it's our fault?
I have to agree with that. I don't agree with the stewards on this one. I feel like that was down to Victor Franzoni locking up into the back of Reese Gold. Reese Gold's a passenger at that point, so it'll be. I think we'll get another look at it and confirm that's what happened. But if Reese Gold moved lanes or things like that, that puts himself in the responsible party seat. We see Hunter McElroy leaving the pit box. We get another view here.
So let's watch that green and black car from behind getting into the back of Reese Gold. So what, it's very possible we're missing something, but from that clip of video, I'm not sure what Reese is to do. Did he do something else out of bounds before that?
I don't see that. I see
Still
that.
reviewing it, so let's just, obviously we're going to take the green here and wait for them to figure it out.
Yeah, they might review the review.
I would if I was them, I have to admit.
That's a tough job. And there are a lot of different angles, and this is just so chaotic looking. And then there are multiple contacts from behind. So we're going to get it going again, and we'll continue to sort things out. Louis Foster survived the chaos in the beginning, and many others moved up significantly. It's Frost, Siegel, who's still alive in the championship, Jones, Bogle, Chadwick, the top 5, racing again. Let's see if we can get through the Shelton chicane.
3 wide again down into turn 1. Rasmussen says, I'll take 2.
So he is going to work on the March 4. Let's keep an eye on Christian Rasmussen. Restarted in 9th. Is the car fully intact?
He's got Jamie Chadwick in his sights now. All the way up in 6th. So he took those 2 spots down into turn 1. Has the speed to keep moving forward. Qualified 3rd.
Looking around the outside here, maybe an over-under on Jamie Chadwick. That's the DHL car. Now quick switchback, trying to find his way through.
It is hard down into turn 10. That is not a heavy braking zone. Jamie Chadwick not making it easy for the championship leader.
But Rasmussen had the preferred line there and gets another spot, so he's coming forward. Rasmussen could still certainly podium. Does he have enough to catch Foster, who has pace, the pole sitter? That's going to be a different story, but getting back to 2nd seems very much in reason. Here's Jagger Jones coming to the inside of Nolan Siegel. Backs out of it, and they get through safely.
That's Jagger Jones looking for a podium position. Podiumed earlier this year in Detroit, thinking if I can take a spot and run up front, take that podium. He's moved up 9 spots already today, Kevin.
Finished 2nd in one of the races at Detroit in the rookie season for Jagger with 1 year of Formula Car experience last year with a win in USF 2000, and it's a debut season essentially in a return for the first time in a decade at this level for Cape Motorsports.
And I think people really underestimate the challenge of coming back to this Indy NXT series after a few years away, like Cape Motorsports has done. Yes, it's a new tire for all the teams, but for a lot of this year, the second half, they've been a 1-car team. When you have multiple cars, Andretti Autosport with 4, HMD with 6, 7, 8 earlier this year, that's a lot of information. That's 6 times the data you're getting on those Firestone tires. 1-car team, you have 1 data set to learn from. So you learn at a much slower rate. And they've done a really nice job this year being clean. They know it's a long-term plan, looking forward to next year.
Okay, I like what I'm hearing because race control and stewarding is a very difficult job, and you're asked to do a lot of things all at one time. The penalty has been rescinded on Reese Gold, and they are reviewing again to see if anyone else should be held responsible for that lap 1 incident. So no penalty on Reese Gold. We'll see if Franzoni is issued any kind of a penalty. Meanwhile, let's check in on one of the championship contenders impacted, Hunter McElroy. What do you know, Georgia?
Well, he came to pit lane. They changed a left front tire and put a new nose wing on it, but no adjustments to the Andretti Autosport number 27. He currently runs in that 15th position, but he sure has a lot of work to do if he wants to close any sort of gap between him and Christian Rasmussen.
Yeah, that points, he was hoping to eat into that points lead of Christian Rasmussen today, and despite wanting to do that, Christian has now stretched that championship lead.
Well, he's just got to hope that Rasmussen does not carve his way through the field. If it were somehow to stay the way it is, certainly not ideal, but he's still alive going to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. But Rasmussen is quick. If the car is good, he's likely still going to move forward.
Well, and the big points gap, these points here in the Indy NXT series are the same as the NTT IndyCar series. It is 10 points from first to second. So Hunter McElroy is rooting for his teammate Louis Foster to get that win. He's out front by 2 seconds. He wants Louis Foster in that 26 car to run away and hide so that Christian Rasmussen doesn't get the win and take those 10 points. Because that could be the difference between Christian leaving here with an almost insurmountable lead or leaving here with the cup in his back pocket.
For Rasmussen to win the race, he's going to need more cautions because Foster is going to check out. He's quick, he's got the pace. It's going to take a bunch up, and the opportunity for Rasmussen to dispatch some people pretty quickly. And big credit to what Christian Bogle and Jagger Jones are doing, because Rasmussen is not on their tail at this point. Bogle is challenging Jones for fourth right now. Now, is there a chance that Rasmussen is just kind of settling in right now, that, all right, other championship contenders have had issues, I'm not going to press my luck anymore for a little bit?
Well, he talked about in the pre-race interview, he talked about being consistent, taking what was available as Jagger Jones defends down into turn 10. Christian Bogle, good run, not on the preferred line, not going to get that pass done. But Christian talked about taking what was available and not overstretching and having an incident. He may be looking at that. Also, as part of that incident recovery, I think Christian might have hurt his Firestones a little bit. I think,
good point.
Try and get a replay, but he had to light those tires up to keep from getting into other contact. He might have smoked those rear Firestones on his car, and that'll come into play here in 20 laps as we get to the end of this 35-lap race.
This is really impressive what Christian Bogle is doing now, challenging with Jagger Jones. Christian Bogle is still just 22 years old. Yes, this is his third season at this level, but he did not have a lot of racing experience. He's a big kid, he's 6'4", and that's one of the reasons why he moved up quickly from USF 2000, because there was a significant weight penalty at his size, and he's lost a lot of weight. He's got in fantastic condition to do what he can to minimize that, and he's learning, and he's showing progress in a really stout field. He's finished as high as 6th this season, 7th, and looking for what could be his best result of the season.
He had a
and
fourth
close to
last
his
year.
best ever was 4th last year at Detroit.
Yep. Yeah, and I've seen him working out in Pit Fit for the last couple of years. He's put a huge effort in to minimize the disadvantage that his size brings to the table. So he's done a really good job, continues to grow and learn and get better and better.
Jamie Chadwick back in 7th, Francis in 8th, Brabham in 9th, Rowe in 10th. Victor Franzoni is in pit lane, and they have reviewed again this start, and instead, Victor Franzoni has been penalized for incident responsibility. It is a stop and hold for Franzoni. And now he has been released, and he is still
on the lead lap.
Is he? I don't think he is, according to what we're seeing on timing and scoring.
Correct. Sorry,
yeah, he is a lap down. All right, back up front, Louis Foster has very much enjoyed the chaos behind him. 3-second advantage on Daniel Frost. Nolan Siegel, who has an opportunity to keep himself alive in the championship. And actually, we should also mention, Louis Foster has a chance to, I think, be mathematically alive going into WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca if he stays in this position at 80 points back with 108 on offer.
And if Christian Rasmussen, if we have 17 cars entered next weekend, Christian Rasmussen finishes last and someone takes all the points, 108 versus 26, the two 17th places, you have to come out of here, checked on my calculator, with an 82-point lead.
Good. Glad you
be
did the
eliminated.
math. I trust your math better than mine. And we might have more than 17 next week. I know I mentioned that we're not going to have Josh Pearson because he has other commitments, but Kiko Porto is going to be back in a second car for Cape Motorsports. Since he debuted at Indianapolis with ninth, he's won a couple of USF Pro 2000 races. That seems to have really helped him. And we're going to see Francesco Pizzi as well in another car for Abel next weekend. Added 3/10 to that gap, that lap for Louis Foster on Daniel Frost.
Daniel Frost doing a really good job here, running consistently quick laps, very similar lap times to Nolan Siegel in third, Jagger Jones, Christian Bogle, and Christian Rasmussen in fourth, fifth, and sixth, about 0.4 of a second slower than second and third.
Jones, Bogle, and Rasmussen continue to run in station there at 4th, 5th, and 6th. Little gap back to Chadwick. And Francis Jr., Brabham, and Rowe. Those are the lead lap cars. Others impacted at the start of the race in a pileup in the Shelton chicane. And then the penalty for Franzoni is why he is a lap down. Doubleheader next weekend. Saturday, 3:25 Eastern. Sunday, 12:50 Eastern from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Really good battle. Christian Rasmussen, Christian Bogle, even Jagger Jones thinking about how to use their push-to-pass system. Push to pass, they have a limited amount of extra horsepower over the course of the race. They can turn it on and turn it off at will, 150 seconds for 35 laps. You can use it on starts and restarts after the leader has gotten around to the alternate start finish here on the back straight leading into turn 10. Now, you can use it as a push to pass. You can also use it as a push to defend. So you can use that button to help launch you out of the corner, give you that extra speed down the straight if the car behind you has a good run out of the corner and is setting up for a pass.
There's Christian Rasmussen, the championship leader, running 6th right now, impacted at the start of this race. What do you know about Rasmussen right now, Georgia?
Well, I know that Christian Rasmussen, since going green, has been completely silent on the radio. The team just noting just to run a smart race, which is what he's trying to do to maximize those points, but also be smart throughout this entirety of the race post-incident. But before it went green, he said everything feels fine. So no complaints from Christian Rasmussen on the 6.
That's exactly what he wants to do to solidify his championship lead. Taking that lead from 50 points to 63 at the moment. I think he's happy to let this race develop and see if he can get some more points, but no, he doesn't have to.
That's smart. We know he's got the pace to likely challenge. Now he's starting to cut the gap a little bit on Bogle, a little lockup there. So I'll be curious to see, because you're a young racing driver, you are programmed to try to move forward. So this is going to be a battle of his will. Because the smart thing, the safe thing to do is to stay where you're at. But his counter to that could be, yeah, but I can't clinch staying here. And what if something goes wrong next week? If there are points available, I think I'm faster than those guys. I want to get them. What do you do?
You have to balance that. It's a $1 million question in his head as far as the scholarship.
It really is.
Literally $1 million. Kiffin Simpson here, a couple of laps down though, but his grown has really shown good pace. Been quicker in practices, maybe not executing in qualifying quite yet. Good qualifying, it's not great, but those results are continuing to build. I think as a Chip Ganassi Racing development driver, you see that similar livery on his car as you do on the championship leading number 10 car for Alex Palou in the NTT IndyCar Series. I think as a Ganassi development driver, they're looking to let him develop, build a little more, get some more experience, maybe another year next year, potential for some IndyCar rookie tests over the course of the year. And I think for the Simpson family, Kiffin's targeting 2025 to move into IndyCar.
I think most people think that would be the smart plan. You could make an argument that he's ready to move up. He's had some results. He's got some very high-level sports car experience that does transfer. But I think you could also say, you know what, if you want to come back another year at Indy NXT, you are a championship contender next year. I think Kiffin Simpson has done this year what he needs to do. He's still 18, doesn't turn 19 until October. He started to qualify better, qualified third at the Indy Road Course a few weeks ago, and also Mid-Ohio, where he finished second, had a podium at Indy in May. So progress is definitely being made, and Kiffin Simpson is showing why he is a Ganassi development driver at this point. All right, we've talked some young drivers looking to move to IndyCar. How about some drivers that would like to be at this level in the next couple of years? One of them is downstairs with Georgia.
Yeah, that is of your 2023 USF 2000 champion, Simon Sykes. First and foremost, congratulations. But second, yesterday you said this was a long time coming. Can you explain that a little bit?
It has been. I mean, this has been the goal for years. USF Pro Championships has been the place to be. I mean, no other place in the world offers a scholarship advancement in the open wheel system to move towards the IndyCar, Indy NXT ranks, and that's been the plan for years in the making. I started running in the USF 2000 category in 2020. Only managed a few partial seasons. Budget was cut short here and there, and even into this season, I came in with the powerhouse team, Paps Racing, who's been amazing to me, but we didn't have the budget to make it past the first event, so it was all about just building the next one, just one event at a time, taking it race by race, and after it all, we ended up getting a season together, and by some miracle, we ended up with a championship, the first for Paps Racing in the drivers category, and the first of my career in the USF Pro Championship. So it's just a massive thrill to be here, to be in Portland with all these fans, and to be able to lock up that title for the first time.
Can we expect to see you here in the Indy NXT by Firestone one day?
Absolutely. 2025 is the goal. I'll be in the USF Pro 2000 category next year, run by Anderson Promotions. So another year of development, and then hopefully I'll be ready in 2025 to come race these Indy NXT cars.
Congratulations once again. That's Simon Sykes, USF 2000 champion here in the 2023 season.
The future is really bright for this Indy NXT series. There's some great drivers coming through. Simon Sykes, well-spoken, and the fact that he had to fight off track to get on track and then go out and win the championship for Augie Paps and Paps Racing. It's an unbelievable year for Simon.
So I'll admit I'm a little biased. I've known Simon for a long time now. He was my son's teammate in Formula Fords, and I know the challenges. And this is his first full-time season, and it was kind of weekend to weekend. So credit to Augie Paps for understanding that if you give this kid a chance, he's going to get it done. He's had some partners like Doug Mockett that have come on and helped him as well. And I think most people in the paddock have known that Simon has the goods, and he has capitalized, and we'll see him move up a level next year. All right, let's get back to where things are standing at this point. We've seen some dust kicked up at different times, and that is a little ride
That's Matt
from
Brabham.
Matt Brabham right there behind Ernie Francis in that green and black Who Goes Hollinger car.
That's the exit at turn 7. James Rowe takes advantage. You know, Matthew Brabham dropping in, last-minute call-up for Iowa Speedway, has jumped in a few different cars over the course of the year. You know, it's hard to build that consistency. I talked about the rhythm here at Portland, and it's hard to get that rhythm when you haven't tested, you haven't been racing. Most of these drivers have been in every weekend. Practice, qualifying, racing, testing. When you drop in, kind of cold turkey, despite Brabham having so much experience, it's hard to be at that razor's edge at the front of the field right away.
As of a few days ago, we thought Rasmus Lind was going to be in that car, but a late change, and Brabham gets yet another opportunity. Let's check up front with one still alive in the championship, running third in this race, Nolan Siegel. Let's hear what he's being told on his radio.
Awesome job, man. Within 1.5 now. Let's push. Remember, when you're behind him, don't follow him. Don't follow him. Just do everything you can to get by him. You're within 1.4 now.
Lots of encouragement from the timing stand there to Nolan Siegel. He is tracking down Daniel Frost. That last lap, he was about a quarter of a second faster, cutting into that.
He's going to make a mistake, and you'll be right there to capitalize on it. Good job.
Coaching patience for this young driver who graduated high school the weekend after his first win of the year in Detroit this year.
He won't turn 19 until November. It was always a 2-year plan at this level, and then he found himself leading the championship mid-season and started to think, well, one, there could be a scholarship available. Maybe I am ready to move up. So I think that's still kind of TBD, and that's being debated, but one thing is certain. Nolan could use a solid finish to the season. Some things have been out of his control, but it has not gone well here recently since he won back-to-back races, the second half of the doubleheader at Detroit, which he probably should have swept except for a mechanical, then won at Road America. But since then, 15th, got a 5th in there at Nashville, a 12th at the road course, rebounded a bit last weekend at Gateway with a 6th, and now a chance at a podium today. So big picture, everyone should see this as a fantastic season for Siegel, correct?
Absolutely, it's a win. He may not win the championship, but for his rookie season, it lays the foundation to come. I'm a big proponent, a big fan of Indy NXT being a 2-year program. You come, lay the foundation, you learn, get a couple of wins, get great results, come back in year 2, and you're up front. You're in front of the IndyCar Series team owners every weekend on the podium. Sometimes their drivers are shaking your hand during driver introductions as the winner of the Indy NXT race. They know who you are. They know you have the experience that when they put you in their Indy car, you're not going to do something dumb.
Just keep it up, bud. Keep pushing. You can use it freely, whatever you need.
So that's the battle for second right there with Daniel Frost, who had a nice result last weekend as well, looking for back-to-back really solid weekends. And let's check in again on 4th, 5th, and 6th. And Jagger Jones and Christian Bogle have gapped Christian Rasmussen. Potentially Rasmussen just saying, you know what, these guys are going to fight. Maybe I just want to give myself a little space in case they come together. If you're not going to try to pass him, you might as well gap because there's nobody pressuring him.
Or he hurt those tires. There was maybe some damage. I mean, he's half a second this last lap slower than Christian Bogle and Jagger Jones ahead of him. Maybe there was some damage from that initial contact that we can't see. Maybe in the underbody of the car, maybe those tires. He hurt him with that smoky spin to get back around, pointed the right direction. So maybe he's holding on a little bit. He's got a good gap, couple seconds back to Jamie Chadwick right behind him. I know Jamie's team is probably telling her, go get Rasmussen, get by him, help your teammates out in the championship hunt. But at the same time, Christian's got 11 laps to just bring it home, be consistent, leave here with a bigger championship lead, which is what he wanted.
I think we could probably look at lap times and maybe get an answer to that question, whether he backed up to just gap. If he did, he's still probably going to try to run pretty hard. So let's see next lap if he picks it up significantly from the 104.2 that he did last lap, which is about a second and a half off the fastest lap of the race, turned so far by Nolan Siegel. And last lap was about the same, 104.1. So maybe he has used up the Firestones at this point.
Yeah, maybe some damage lingering from that lap 1, turn 1. So Nolan Siegel really has the bit between his teeth here with Daniel Frost. Now they're teammates, so rule number 1 is you don't want to crash your teammates. Daniel will be aware of that. Nolan will be aware of that. And Daniel will be aware that Nolan's in the championship fight here. If he can get those extra 5
but I don't care. Let's get by him. Let's get by him. Got no pressure out back.
Really trying to drive Nolan to get right on the back of Daniel Frost and go flying by. Because if you get in that dirty air behind, it takes even more out of the tires. And sometimes you just get stuck running the pace of the car in front of you rather than driving up and going past.
Yeah, maybe teammates, but we heard the back end of that radio conversation. I don't care, get by him. So, and he's the one in the championship from the team standpoint, fighting another teammate in the championship in Rasmussen, who is the leader, but they'd love to finish 1-2 in that championship, and that is very much in play. Siegel is only 10 points as they run behind McElray to finish 1-2 in that championship. There's that battle for fourth with Jagger Jones and Christian Bogle, who have been glued together since the start. They were one of those that made it through unscathed through the pileup at the start of the race. In the crash in the...
They're about equal on P to P, about a half-second gap at the moment. Let's keep putting pressure on them, 9 laps to go.
In the crash in the Shelton chicane, Jagger started back in 13th, Bogle started in 11th. Christian has been putting the pressure on Jagger Jones throughout this race. So we just heard from Simon Sykes, who won the first championship of the weekend, the first ever for Augie Pabst. Family's been involved in motorsport forever. Pabst Racing, Wisconsin, great program. They came so close to winning last year at that level with Miles Rowe. Well, Miles moved up to USF Pro 2000 this year, and he got it done yesterday after 5 wins last year at USF 2000. This year equally as good, and this is the celebration. He didn't need to win, he just needed to finish up front, and Miles got it done, and this is very significant. And there's Will Power in there, who recommended him to Penske Entertainment as part of their program that was started really with him. The Race for Equality and Change. Miles Rowe was the first driver. Ernie Francis Jr. is another one. Will knew him from the kart track. GoPro Motorplex in Charlotte and said, you got to give this kid a chance.
Well, and you saw Will Power congratulating him this morning. Lewis Hamilton tweeted a congratulations to Miles Rowe. When Lewis Hamilton is watching the USF Pro 2000 results for a driver like Miles Rowe, Jagger Jones defending there from Christian Bogle, this fight's going to go down to the wire. Well, you've got a multi-Formula One world champion like Lewis Hamilton, who's been such an advocate for diversity and change. Supporting Miles Rowe is fantastic. I met Miles' mom last night in the hotel, and she was just levitating. Just so much pride and appreciation and gratitude for the result. And this racetrack last year broke Augie Pabst's heart. He was in line to win that championship. It all fell apart. And the fact that he comes away with 2 championships back-to-back, going to be quite the party for Pabst Racing tonight.
There is a scholarship worth over $650,000 as we see Louis Foster and his lead up over 6 seconds. And now Jagger Jones has gone off. And he's lost his 4th place position, trying to hang on it. He's gone spinning through the grass. It's all gone away for Jagger Jones.
That is such a challenging corner. You come out of turn 10, he's trying to keep it going on that wet grass.
We stay green.
Get another look at this. You come through that left-right. He defends from Christian Bogle. Is on the dirty part of the racetrack. The car slides, and then he goes for a ride through the grass. Look how close that was. I think there might have been contact on the front wing of Christian Bogle.
Let's see if we can see anything there. It'd be right before they got to that left-hander, whether there was any contact with Bogle or not. It looked like his front wing was a little bit downwards on the left front, and Jagger is going to have to roll through pit lane. Oh.
5 laps to go here. If he's unable to get back out, oh, Christian Bogle does have front wing damage. Well spotted.
Bogle's been working on it all race.
It folds the left side of the main plane for Christian Bogle.
That's one of those that, I mean, I'm not a steward, but I don't know that you can say that Bogle hit him from behind. Was he outside? And Bogle's side of that would be, well, wait a minute, Jones came out to try to make the corner, and I was there. It's your radio on the 17.
Just came across my front wing. I have front wing damage, but I can continue.
Stay out, stay out, stay out.
I don't know what that was.
The wing looks like it's down a little bit on the left side, but it does look like it's hanging off.
You know who's in the background and benefits? Christian Rasmussen.
Yep. And that is disadvantageous to everyone else still trying to keep their championship hopes alive. So add up some more points for Christian Rasmussen, and the gap is now 65 on Hunter McElroy, 75 on Siegel, and Foster, dominating this race, would be right at the cut line, according to Charlie's math. I'm going to go with that he would just barely be mathematically alive heading into a doubleheader weekend.
I think if Louis Foster maximized at Laguna and Christian Rasmussen started and finished last in both races, they would tie. And I think Rasmussen, they might even tie on race wins, which is the first count back. I didn't get that deep into the mathematical situations. I have to call Russ Thompson for that one.
And we can't give a definitive answer either because we don't know how many cars will be there.
That is true. The other one is, if Nolan Siegel gets past his teammate Daniel Frost, that's worth 5 points. The delta from first to second IndyCar point system used in Indy NXT is 10 points. Second to third is another 5 points. So if Nolan Siegel gets past Daniel Frost in these next 3 laps, he moves to within 5 points of Hunter McElroy.
And Siegel has the fastest lap of the race. Foster has the second fastest lap of the race, about a half a tenth slower. No, full tenth. That's the battle for second. Daniel Frost, who won the season opener this year at St. Petersburg, and I'm certain, as we all did, thought, yeah, he's a championship contender. He should be considered a championship contender, but then hit a real rough patch. 10th, 11th, 18th. He's had a couple of others near the back, 14th and 16th this year. Has rallied the last couple of rounds, 7th and 5th, looking to get on the podium for the second time this season.
You got 2 to go at the line. You got to get it done here, bud. You got to get it done. You got it.
Race control has determined that Jagger Jones did slide over into Christian Bogle, and it is an avoidable contact penalty on the 98.
I'm not sure I would have given a drive-through for that racing incident. The onus was definitely on the 98, but he drifted out. He did. Had he maintained that defensive line, not moved over to try and get towards the wall. Still coaching Nolan Siegel to try and use his extra push to pass to get past Daniel Frost.
And what will Christian Rasmussen do as we see Foster on his final lap, who has been in control throughout the race. There's the gap back to second and third. Rasmussen has been right behind Bogle. Bogle in line to equal his best finish of his career. Rasmussen seems pretty content right now with Jamie Chadwick right behind him. You saw that yellow DHL car flash into display. There's Bogle, who's got a little gap ahead of him despite that front wing damage. There's Rasmussen. McElroy is going to go ahead and box because there's nothing he can do at this point. Multiple laps down, so he is going to finish in the 15th position. Meanwhile, we go back up front to see the white flag, and one more time by, and here is Nolan Siegel trying to go around the outside to get 5 points in the championship, side by side with Frost. Daniel Frost not ready to give it up. They continue through the chicane. Siegel gets a spot up to second.
Head down on the button the rest of the way.
Great coaching from his team and a great move going the long way around turn 1. Nolan Siegel, clear air, has more push to pass than his teammate. He'll take those 5 points. That moves him within 5 points a second in the championship of Hunter McElroy.
And for HMD, that's certainly a thought. We'd like to finish 1-2 in the championship. Today, though, it's been Andretti Autosport. Again, Louis Foster, who has been fast all season long. He's had his share of misfortune throughout the year, but it all came together. He avoided the chaos at the start and then scooted away. Louis Foster is going to win again in Indy NXT. Foster dominates at Portland. And will win by 5+ seconds. Still waiting to see the finish. Siegel comes home second, Frost in third. Championship leader trying to hang on to precious points. Christian Rasmussen, after getting collected at the start, has been smart, maybe nursing a wounded car. He's going to bring home a top 5, and Rasmussen will take a 65-point advantage into championship weekend next week at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
What an incredible drive for Louis Foster. Managed to get clear of all the chaos at the start. never looked back and ran away and hid. We get a replay of this pass. Nolan Siegel sending it into turn 1, takes the preferred line through turn 2, gets his elbows out, uses that push to pass to clear Daniel Frost and drive away.
Very impressive again for Louis Foster today, who won the USF Pro 2000 Championship last year, and as mentioned, has been quick all season long, but hasn't always converted. Pole, but impacted at St. Pete, finished 14th, 3rd to 14th at Barber. Podium from a 3rd at the road course. Pole at Detroit, finished 19th.
He was assaulted by his teammate there, and it's been a season of what could have been, but today it's a story of what actually was for Louis Foster in that 26 Andretti Autosport car.
Well, he has shown he is quick. 4 poles on the season. That is the same that the championship leader Christian Rasmussen has. And the 20-year-old Brit is going to be ready to celebrate again and keep a hope alive for the championship into the final weekend.
Great drive. Tired? Not bad, not bad. I like it when it's not very exciting. My heart rate didn't even go up.
There's plenty of excitement there behind Louis Foster, his team. Very pleased. Stefan Johansson there coming in to congratulate Louis Foster on the win.
Stefan represents many top-level drivers. And I actually haven't asked this relationship, but that would make sense that there might be a connection there. If not, maybe it's coming in the future. But Scott Dixon is one of Stefan's drivers. That's gone quite well. Felix Rosenquist is another, and there are a few others scattered about as well. All right, let's hear from the winner today, Georgia.
He is dominant once again in the Indy NXT by Firestone. And Louis, I'm not sure if you even saw the chaos that ensued behind you on that start, but you set a new qualifying record here, started on the pole, and is that just why it is ever so important to start on the pole here at Portland International Raceway?
Yeah, I think you have the ability to control the start a lot better. I think we got obviously a very good start. Lucky to not get caught up in all that carnage. But no, the boys gave me an amazing car. I can't thank them enough. You know, it was just turning laps out there, to be honest. Once I had a comfortable gap that I knew I couldn't be closed down from, I was just saving my tyres, to be honest. Put in a few good laps to try and get fastest lap, which I think we got, I'm not sure. But yeah, car was amazing. Can't thank Andretti enough. But yeah, really looking forward to Laguna next weekend now.
The season has been kind of a roller coaster, but you take this momentum forward to Monterey to close out the season. How do you plan on capitalizing on this?
Yeah, I think we've had really, really good speed, especially on the street circuits and the road courses. So yeah, I think we can hopefully aim for another pole and a win there. That's, you know, the realistic expectation for myself that I set. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's been an up and down season, like you've said, so anything can happen in Indy NXT.
4 poles on the season, 2 wins now. That's Louis Foster. He's dominant today here at Portland International Raceway.
The second season racing in America, and Louis Foster has been very impressive. Here is how they finished unofficially.
And despite Louis Foster running away and hiding, my driver of the day, Christian Bogle, did a great job putting pressure on Jagger Jones, forced him into a mistake. Despite having damage, Christian comes home 4th. A great result, matches his best result. It's his best result of the season. Picked his way through the chaos at the start. Really solid top 5 for Christian Bogle today.
And also note that this is the best finish for Jamie Chadwick as well. 8th previously. She comes home 6th in this race today, and most of these others were impacted at the start of that race. So this is how the championship plays with 2 to go next weekend, Saturday and Sunday in Monterey.
With a 65-point lead, Christian Rasmussen can give up 32 points in each race. 32 is the difference between 1st and about 10th or 11th. So all he has to do is have a solid day on Saturday. He comes home with the championship. He's got one hand on that cup.
And let's hear from Christian Rasmussen with Georgia.
65 points ahead of Hunter McElroy now, but today not easy. Involved in that first incident. First and foremost, let's get your perspective, but then also you stayed out, but there might have been some damage. Were you fighting it?
Yeah, I was definitely fighting it. Like, I thought I had a good start. I got up the inside of Hunter, and I probably would have gotten out second in line out of turn 2, but I'm like halfway through the corner, I just get railed. I see it here. Yeah, not really much I could have done there. So I had some damage on the car. You can see my floor is damaged. So I was losing a lot of downforce in the rear, and that just makes my rear tire go off like crazy. So I was hanging on, but wow, good recovery. I mean, that's all I could ask for today. Extending the championship lead, going into Laguna. Very happy about that, you know, like we just basically have to finish the races at Laguna and we're champion.
Yeah, there were fist bumps all around. You widened the gap, so even though it probably wasn't the way you wanted it to go today, where's the confidence for next weekend?
No, it's good, you know, like we've been quick all weekend, we've been right there, so we're going to be right there again at Laguna, you know. There's still points up for grabs, but it's looking better and better.
The smile is there. That's Christian Rasmussen, now 65 points ahead of Hunter McElrea. Kevin, Charlie?
I'm glad we saw that angle there, because now I see how Race Control originally said, hey, that penalty is on Reese Gold because he just bowling balled into Rasmussen. And then you see another angle. Oh, somebody hit Reese Gold from behind from that. So it all was sorted in the end. And now we get to do it one more time next weekend.
Well, we get to do it
Two
twice
more
next
times, yes.
weekend. Wonderful doubleheader at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. New pavings. We'll see how that plays with these Firestone tires. Great race today. Another great one next weekend.
Hey, we are less than an hour away from broadcast time for IndyCar in the BitNile.com Grand Prix. Join us at 3 o'clock Eastern on NBC here from Portland.